Alright YouTubers, welcome back to War Thunder Ground Forces with the Angry Nerd. And today we're going to take a look at the history of the Panzerbefehlswagen VI, which is a modified version of the VK4501P prototype. Now, we're doing something a little different in this video. I've had it requested a couple of times and I thought I would give it a try. I want your input to let me know what you think about it. We're going to separate the history portion of a tank into one video and the gameplay portion of a tank into a separate video. So let's get right to the history. The VK4501P was the official designation for a heavy tank prototype produced by Porsche in Germany in 1942 for the Tiger program. It is sometimes referred to as the Tiger P. It was the direct competitor to the Henschel prototype VK4501H H1. The VK4501P was not selected for production as the Henschel design won out and was produced as the Tiger 1. On the 22nd of June 1941, Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. The Germans were shocked to encounter the Soviet T-34 medium and KV-1 heavy tanks that were superior to anything available to the Wehrmacht. The T-34 was almost immune from the front to every gun in German service except the 88mm flat gun. Panzer IIIs with the 50mm KWK-38L42 main armament could only penetrate the sides of the T-34 and only at short ranges. The KV-1 was immune to all but the 88mm flat gun. On the 21st of May 1942, at a meeting in Germany, Porsche and Henschel were asked to submit designs for a 45-ton heavy tank capable of mounting the high-velocity 88mm KWK-L56 gun, which was derived from the German 88mm flat gun. Both Porsche and Henschel's tanks were to be fitted with the same turret supplied by Krupp. The Porsche company worked on updating their VK3001P medium tank prototype and adapted parts from it to be used on the new tank design. The new Porsche prototype tank, designated VK4501P, used troublesome gasoline-electric hybrid power units. The units were mounted to the rear of the tank. Each of the twin engines would drive separate generators, one for each side of the tank, which would then power one of two electric motors, one powering each track. But the hybrid power units needed large quantities of copper for manufacture of their electrical drivetrain components, a strategic war material of which Germany had limited supplies, and they needed almost constant maintenance to keep the tank running. This, and the tank being less maneuverable than its competitor, was the reason why Henschel's 88mm armed VK4501H H1 prototype was adopted for production as the Tiger 1 instead. Even before evaluations began, Porsche was so confident that their design would be chosen that they pre-built 100 chassis of the VK4501P, but all the Krupp turrets were allocated to the Henschel chassis, and the Porsche chassis was no longer needed to be made into a tank format, but it would be a waste to simply scrap them. So Porsche petitioned to have them converted into casement-style tank destroyers, which was eventually accepted, and most of them were converted into Ferdinand/Elephant style tank destroyers that would mount the new 88mm PaK-43 cannon, which was longer and more powerful than the KWK-36 on the Tiger 1. 3 of the VK4501P chassis were also converted into recovery vehicles designated Bergerpanzer Tiger P. Out of the 5 4501P prototypes produced, only one saw service in World War II. The tank had a chassis number of 150013 and was converted into a command tank. Thus, it was designated the Panzerbefehlswagen VI. As a command tank, it had more radios than usual to allow for command communication between tank units and headquarters. Another feature on the Panzerbefehlswagen VI was that it had an extra 100 millimeters of armor welded onto the front hull armor, bringing the original 100 millimeters of hull armor to a 200 millimeter effective thickness. The tank, turret number 003, was used by Hauptmann Gillenberg, and the tank saw service in the Eastern Front with the Ferdinand units, serving in Tank Destroyer Battalion 653. It was deployed in April 1944 and was lost in July of the same year. Well, that concludes this brief history of the Panzerbefehlswagen VI. In the next video, we'll briefly discuss the vehicle's stats and see how well it performs in an arcade battle. Let me know in the comments below what you think about having the history and the gameplay separated into 2 separate videos. If you've liked this look at the history of the Panzerbefehlswagen VI, hit that like button. If you didn't, don't. Subscribe if you would. But as always, thanks for watching. Nerd out.